Hello everyone, welcome back on our channel. What am I supposed to do? How can I help my child? These are usually some of the questions parents ask when they just receive the child autism spectrum disorder diagnosis. As of today, ASD has no cure, but there are many types of treatments that can improve the abilities, the skills, and enable people with ASD to live and participate in our communities. Let's remember that we refer to autism as being a spectrum disorder. Therefore, there is no one-size-fits-all solution for different range of challenges it presents. Among the solutions, we have interventions such as speech-language therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, hydrotherapy, social skills training, just to name a few. Today, we are going to talk about occupational therapy and its benefits, and Victor will take us through that. Hello, Victor. Welcome back. So tell me, Victor, how long have you been an occupational therapist, and why did you choose this field?
Oh, thank you very much. Actually, it is surprising how time flies. I'm doing my 10th year as an occupational therapist. And why I chose occupational therapist is very interesting. Initially, I never knew what occupational therapy was. So I had applied for clinical medicine in medical school. Then I received the letter. But of course, when I went to report, my list was not on the name of people doing clinical medicine. So I was told to go around and check if my name is there, and I found it in the Department of Occupational Therapy.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So the college requested me if I can do it, then I can change later. But after 1 year, the first year of study, I realized it was an occupation that was doing well with my personality. So knowing that I will work with children also was exciting. So that's how I ended up being an occupational therapist.
So just tell us, what is it exactly? What is occupational therapy?
So an occupational therapist is also a caregiver from a field of rehabilitation who is trained to help people of different ages, from children to the elderly, to be able to function optimally and independently in their life. They are trained on how to assess and be able to see what skills you have lost and how can they retrain the same skills. Like in the case of autism, then an occupational therapist has been trained to be able to assess such a child and know which skills are not developed or they are facing challenges. And now he's able to come up with activities that are supposed to be used to train this child such skills that the child is lacking. So if you go specifically to the children on the spectrum, you'll find that they lack skills in communication, they lack skills in social interaction, and they present to us with a lot of behavior. So when you do assessment, you realize they may not be having good skills like attending skills. So an occupational therapist comes in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when do you think is the best time to start occupational therapy?
So finding an occupational therapist from the moment you get a diagnosis, for example, or somebody indicates or you come to learn that my child may need support, then that's the best time to look for an occupational therapist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we are in Nairobi, Kenya. For those living in Nairobi, for the parents who are looking for a good occupational therapy, or maybe a center or a place where they can get support for their children, can you share maybe an address? 1 or 2 addresses here. There
is private players and the public players. So we have to know that and know whom do we want.
Okay. Start with the public.
For the public players, I think most of national hospitals and public hospitals will have an occupational therapy department.
Okay.
The only difference will be what we call a clinic setup occupational therapy may somehow have a different orientation with what we may call school-based therapy. And also we have public special schools. Okay. Like for example, we have City Primary, which is one of the oldest public primary school. So it's always good to check wherever you are living if there is a public special need school, then there you should be able to find a special, an occupational therapist or an intervention team. Yeah.
Okay.
But when it comes to private players, I know many good centers. Like personally, I also work with what we call what is called early intervention therapies. It's a center that is an establishment that offers therapy within school environment. That if you have a child attending a school and you don't know where to get them, you can call them. They come to that school, structure program there, and offer you occupational therapy services. We also have Rainbow Therapies in Kitisuru, which offers us a full-time therapy-based program. We have another school at Amboseli. It's called Nairobi Early Intervention Center, which also have a very good occupational therapist there. Personally, in our practice, we always do a quarterly goals that parents and us, we need to sit down and go through the goals and see what has been achieved and what has not been achieved. As long as you have that direction with your therapist, then you are on a good journey.
Okay. Yeah. Now to finish, any success story you would like to share? Like
currently, one of the girls I started with when I started practicing as an occupational therapist, is a girl who now is learning to do their independent shopping, independent living skills. We are taking them shopping and they will do that generally by themselves. We have also now just induced her into work environment. She's working somewhere on just what we call an induction mode, where she goes for a few hours, which we are also planning to introduce to many of our clients. That's one good success story. Another boy who left the country but was here, we saw him grow from a child who was tantrum all over, couldn't do anything, to a child who was able to be in a class, read. By the time he was living here, he was doing basic arithmetics. He had acquired a lot of play skills, bicycle riding, swimming. He would play a ball with you, and he had started learning, the rules of the ball, of the game, which is a very good success story. And but I will not acclaim all this success story to me as occupational therapist. It's a team of intervention.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Victor.
Welcome.
Once again, let's not forget that autism is a spectrum. So it's really important to find what works for your child or for each person. That's the reason why some therapies are effective for some people and ineffective for others. I would like to share what a therapist once said to me. She said, no matter the age or the level of ability of a person on the spectrum, if he or she gets a well-designed intervention, the condition can never get worse. On the contrary, they will always improve. I'll finish by encouraging parents in the ASD journey with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. And this is what he said: take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase, but just take the first step. Amen. If you find this video useful, please like it, share it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell, and don't forget, when we touch heaven, our lives will surely change.